What's up, guys? Episode 13. We got a guest speaker today from Off the Couch Sports on TikTok. Chase, you want to say hello to everyone real quick?
What's up, y'all? How we doing?
Yeah, obviously fired up for Chase to be here. Bears fan. So that's the first topic we're getting into today. You know, 10-game losing streak and the Bears come out and beat the Packers. It's almost like Christmas morning, really.
It
But
was our Super Bowl.
yeah, it's our Super Bowl. Shout out Ron, Packers fan. So boys in the garage. What did this game mean to you? If it meant anything to you, DP, you're really the only Bears fan over there. But was this like just like a good way to end the horrible season for the Bears?
Yeah, shout out Bears. They were due for a win. They've lost 10 straight. It sounds like their season went downhill after the Hail Mary by Jaden Daniels, which was electric for me. But I wish Bears misery would have continued, obviously. But Caleb Williams made a play and Cairo Santos finally made a clutch kick. So, you know what? The Packers playing their guys, Jordan Love got hurt. All today proved is that anything in the world is possible if the Bears can win a football game.
Yeah. I think this is a great start for the Bears to end their season on a win versus the Packers going into next season. But if any of the coaching staff is back, they're all idiots. They all need to be fired and bring in a brand new staff all the way around. And if one more screen pass gets thrown in the year of 2025 for the Chicago Bears and it goes nowhere, there needs to be riots in the city of Chicago. It's just crazy how it seems to be, it's like 3rd and 1. Let's just run a screen pass, you idiot. And it's just amazing how some of these people have jobs in the NFL. You really see how successful a lot of all these other coordinators and head coaches are just because they're not idiots. And the Bears just keep to hire idiots after idiot after idiot. So, hopefully in this next cycle it changes, but if it doesn't, I wouldn't be surprised.
No more
Yeah.
defensive coaches.
Yeah, Chase, what do you think?
Like we kind of talked about earlier before we got on here, was that it didn't affect the Bears draft pick. So to me, beating the Packers in Lambeau, it's the first time since 2015. It's Christmas morning, like you said. I really like Caleb Williams. I think that he has the tools to be the Bears franchise quarterback. He just has to slow down a little bit, work on his deep accuracy. I think they have a good thing going there. As long as they get a new coaching staff and a better O-line, that team could be really dangerous next year, I think.
Yeah, and I'm in total agreement with you, Mac. And I want to know if you, or Chase, I want to know if you're in, Mackie, if you think the same way. Is this Caleb Williams? I know you said you're high on Caleb Williams, but should the Bears clean staff or what?
No, Caleb Williams has to stay. He was your number one pick. That's obvious. Um, Thomas Brown was a little disappointing. I thought once he got him there as an interim coach, he was very highly regarded in the building and in the NFL as a whole. Potential head coaching candidate down the road. I don't think he did much to help himself here, even though it was with the Bears team that didn't have a ton of great personnel, and we're in a rut all year. I'm assuming they'll give him a mulligan. They might try to keep him on staff, or he'll take a better position somewhere else. But they're definitely not promoting him to head coach. Um, like Johnny said, no more defensive head coaches. I think you got to get Caleb Williams, an offensive guy. Um, but I tend to think that the Bears are going to go a different route. I think the Bears have always been a defensive-minded organization, and I really think they're going to bring Brian Flores in. Something just tells me Brian Flores will be the guy.
Interesting.
I
Interesting.
want to build off that too. Brian Flores, I don't want a defensive coach either. I am honestly big on Ben Johnson from the Lions. I think almost all Bears fans want that offensive coach there. But if there's one defensive coach I want, it's got to be either Vrabel or Brian Flores. I mean, I know Tua had some pretty rough things to say about Brian Flores, but the defense for the Vikings this year has been unreal. I think if you can get a younger head coach that can work with Caleb pretty well and build a pretty good offense around him, as long as you bring a good OC like Thomas Brown as an offensive coordinator for the however many weeks it was, he did pretty well in that little stint there when Waldron was fired. But I think it's a matter of, can you keep this team together? The cohesiveness has got to really, really matter.
No, yeah, I think that's a good point. And we're gonna roll into our MVP.
Hey,
Oh, excuse me.
no, you're fine. Yeah, one thing just to go off of this, with Thomas Brown is I don't even know why he should stick around. I mean, he wasn't even the offensive coordinator to start with.
Right.
It was obviously Shane Waldron. So like I don't care what he's done in the recency. He hasn't been a leader of men, as they always say, for the Bears. And their defense has been garbage since he was hired. The offense, yeah, Caleb's been putting up stats, but they've been getting, killed. They haven't been winning games. So there's just no point to keep him around. Like he's done nothing for this team. He wasn't the OC to start. He got thrown into a position because they have no one else on staff because all the coaches suck.
Right.
Yeah, and Eberflus, dude, he's a great defensive coach. So I hope
Right.
that doesn't look for the Colts to bring him back because I think Gus Bradley's gone. So I think Eberflus is coming back to Indy as the defensive
That's when we got
coordinator.
to cut this Bears
I'll
talk.
ask one more question about the Bears before we move on here. Give me one brief second. I know you guys, DPU said Thomas Brown shouldn't even stay. Do you consider giving him a token pass at all because he went from being promoted to the offensive coordinator when Waldron was fired and then got promoted to the interim head coach? I mean, that's a lot of stress and a lot of different positions, a lot of moving parts in his life over a 10-week span, especially when the team was reeling.
Yeah, I just don't want the same thing for the Bears to what happened with the Raiders. They hire this guy because he won a few games as the interim head coach, and they're still at the top of the NFL draft. Now, granted, Aiden O'Connell could be him, but he went to Purdue, so he's garbage anyway. But it's still the same thing. Like the Raiders are bad with the interim guy that they hired. They should have hired somebody else.
Yeah. Does anyone else have anything to say?
Good.
No? I'm just excited to get into this next part because as of today, as of this weekend of football, my guy got eliminated from the playoff contention for the MVP. My Joe Burrow ticket is officially crashed, So now it's in between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, guys, and I want to hear from each one of you guys. We'll start with Chase. Who is your MVP of this season? Is it Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen?
It kills me to say it because I am probably the biggest Josh Allen fan there is. And I think like when you think of an MVP award, when you think about a valuable player, it's Josh Allen 10 out of 10 times. If you put him on any other team or put another quarterback on that team, they don't make the playoffs, in my opinion. They don't have the personnel there. But the way the Ravens have turned around their season the last 5 weeks and Lamar Jackson's been on an absolute tear. I mean, 4 touchdown games is just unreal for a guy. I mean, it's the first time someone's done 4,000 passing yards and 800 rushing yards in a season. Dude's been on an absolute elite level, and I have to go back to Lamar Jackson, give him the back-to-back. He's just been playing too well with that team.
Mackie?
I said it last week. I really don't care what Johnny has to say. 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, best passer rating, best QBR in the league, obviously the best running quarterback in the league, 4,100 yards, 12-5, a division title. This is obvious, clear as day, obvious who the MVP is. It's Lamar Jackson. Voter fatigue will set in like the NBA and Jokic and Giannis, but Lamar's your MVP. He's the best player in the league, and I think he's the most valuable too. You take him away from the Ravens, they only win 6 or 7 games. He is their offense.
Boys in the garage?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement. Lamar Jackson is the MVP. He can have the cupcake award. He can win as many MVPs as he wants over his NFL career, but he'll never get to Lombardi. I mean, that's just where I'm at on it. He's a great quarterback. He had an unbelievable year, as you guys said. 41 touchdowns is absolutely ridiculous. Especially just this guy's passing has improved so much over his career. And you know what? Hopefully at some point this Ravens team will get over the hump. I don't think it'll be this year, but yeah, I think Lamar Jackson edges out, especially with the fact that he played this week and Josh Allen didn't play. So I think that also has a huge factor in it. And, Lamar Jackson lit it up. And they had their starters in at the end of that game up 20 yesterday, and I didn't understand that at all.
Yeah, and that's the only reason why I'm still going to stick with Josh Allen because he didn't have to have he didn't have to play. The Ravens have to play because they needed to win. It had, Josh went out there to get his whatever career start, record to keep that intact, and he came out and money Mitch for them. And that's where I think it comes in as Mackey stated for Lamar that the Ravens could be a 6-7 win team if he wasn't on the team. I don't know where this Bills team would be if Josh Allen wasn't there. Granted you have James Cook, but I mean he's just out there throwing to his friends. No more Diggs. I love Dalton Kincaid. He's an absolute stud. Amari Cooper got traded there mid-year. Matt Collins doesn't wear shoes. So, I mean, he's just out there, like, hanging out with his friends, just, slinging the rock around. And, he just has fun. I love Josh Allen. yeah, Lamar will probably win. They still won't win the Super Bowl because they're, a run dominated team and they can't hang in the playoffs, but it is what it is.
Dude, Matt Collins had a decently solid year.
He got his incentive bonus this week.
He did.
Absolutely.
Wow, what an incentive. He caught 2 passes today. What a nerd.
I
But
also
I would
I
love
think
to
it's
catch
worth
2 passes for 50K.
I think it's worth noting that I think what hurt Josh Allen, especially down the stretch, is that the Bills are built as a team for Josh Allen not to put up stupid, crazy passing numbers. Obviously, they're a run-heavy offense. They don't have one stud playmaker like they did with Diggs. Um, so I think that hurts his numbers in the long run. You can't really compare the numbers here when you're talking about the MVP. If you throw Josh Allen in there, it's obviously just strictly on the value he provides to his team. And yeah, he did what he had to win games, and it won't matter in the end if they get the Super Bowl.
yeah, and like you guys said, I think we're kind of like an anonymous that my pick is also Lamar Jackson. Pains me to say it. Like we said, we just never seen a season like this, you know what I mean? 4,800. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like you seriously have some starting running backs that didn't even get 800 rushing yards this year. And a quarterback's throwing for 4,000 and rushing for 800. I mean, that's ridiculous. But
Also worth noting that Joe Burrow probably had the best overall individual statistics season for a quarterback. That's obvious, but that's a Drew Brees caliber season. It's because his defense was garbage and he had to do what he had to do to win games because he's an absolute stud. That's not a knock on him, but I don't care what his touchdown numbers and yards say because it's a Drew Brees type season.
Right. I want to ask a question to you guys then.
Eliminated.
Bouncing
About
off
time
that.
we put that Bengals talk to bed. Go ahead,
Um,
Chase. My bad.
you say,
No, you're
Chase,
good, brother. We talk about it being a quarterback award. I know Saquon didn't play today, so he couldn't break the record. Would you guys have given Saquon the MVP if he would have broken Eric Dickerson's 40-year record?
Yes.
you know,
I think you have to.
that one for me is tough, Chase, just because of the aspect of at the end of the day, this has just been a quarterback award for the past
Right.
how many years? Do I think that he's deserving of it? For sure. But I mean, I don't know, like on DraftKings for Offensive Player of the Year, Saquon was like minus 10,000, and we
Right.
have Jamar Chase that has the Triple Crown winner, and he's plus 4,000. You
Right.
know what I mean? So like what I don't understand is how is a player winning the offensive MVP award and is so heavily favorited in that aspect. How are they not talked about in the MVP aspect? I
Right.
mean, yeah, I totally agree with you. If Saquon Barkley were to do that, but like even how is Jamar Chase and Saquon Barkley not in the talks of MVP, especially after their two crazy seasons? But
No, I agree with that. I think Jamar Chase should be in the talks, but the problem is one, like you guys have mentioned, they're out of the playoffs. That hurts them so much. But Jamar Chase wouldn't be Jamar Chase without Joe Burrow. I fully believe that. I think Joe Burrows was making Jamar. Not that Jamar Chase isn't top 5 receiver. He's a great receiver, but I think if he had like, let's throw, well, Aiden O'Connell for example, he's not putting up numbers like that.
hmm boys in the garage, what do we think? Saquon for MVP?
I would say if he would have broke the record, I say it's hard to not give it to him because, dude, that's 40 years. I mean, how do you not give it to him? At that point, it just proves that it's a quarterback award. And that's what sucks because, like, if you look at it overall, who is the actual best player in the NFL? I mean, if it's not a guy on the defensive side of the ball, it's probably right now Saquon Barkley. I mean, the year this guy had was unbelievable, dude. And I think if he would have broke Eric Dickerson's record, I think it would have been very hard to not give him the MVP trophy because, I mean, that's exceptional. And I think they should have played him today and got him that record. He'll never get that chance again.
I agree.
The only thing that I know a lot of the older players in the NFL hate, that these guys have an extra game. And I think that could have a major impact on some of the awards like that in the fact that, okay, I broke it in 17 games instead of 16 or however many last that, some of the older guys did. So, but I mean, that's just, that could deal with, voters and, NFLPA people and dealing with stuff like that. So could he be deserving? Yes. Jamar Chase could definitely be deserving as well. I mean, you probably have, I don't know, 5 or 6 guys worthy of winning the MVP trophy this year, but it's going to come down to, 2 or 3.
Yeah. And going off what you said, DP, just real quick before we get into our little playoff talk here. Um, like what these old heads don't understand is I'm pretty sure that Saquon Barkley has 45 less rushing attempts.
Go.
That is minimum 250 yards. Minimum. That kid breaks out 20-yard runs like it's a bowl of cereal, dude. I mean, this guy, he's hurdling guys backwards. He's doing Madden shit, dude. I mean, this guy is something we have not seen before, and the like Eric Dickerson said, he'd be pissed off if he broke the record because there's one more game. Another game doesn't matter. It's total touches of the football.
Amen.
It does not matter about another game when you're seeing the
Yeah.
ball 40 less times.
Amen. Amen.
But
The
we're
only
all
thing that
sorry.
to deal with that though, Zach, is when Saquon was not being selfish during whatever his 300-yard game versus Dallas, stay in the game. If you know that you have a chance to break it, stay in the game and get 10 more carries and see if you can get another 100 yards. Like, I don't like. Yes, you want to be cool and give people like Kenneth Gainwell, who nobody cares about, touches. Like, stay in the game. If you know that you have a chance to break a record like that, stay in the game. You think Burrow's going to pull himself out of a game if he's, a touchdown shy of 60, if he somehow gets there? Like these guys aren't going to take themselves out of the game because they want their records. I just think that Saquon was too selfish.
My biggest thing is that with all this being said, everyone's kind of trashing him for not playing him this week. But the Eagles are legit Super Bowl contenders. I mean, they have a legit chance to win the Super Bowl. So you can't be mad at Sirianni too much. I mean, it's your best player. And honestly, they got a decent draw, especially Jordan Love banged up. So I don't blame them too much for not playing him today because they have a chance to make a seriously deep run and at least get back to the Super Bowl.
He also has a very extensive injury history and hamstrings made of jello. So I fully understand. If the guy wants a ring, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think it's him being selfish. I think it was him being selfless personally, but that's just me.
Yeah. And rolling into the playoff talk, Mac, we just talked that the playoff schedule has dropped and fire us up. We waited all season for some playoff football, and we're all excited about it. Well, besides the game tonight, what matchup is intriguing to you guys the most?
I can lead us off here. Steelers Ravens would be the game I look at the most here. Best rivalry in football, in my opinion, most competitive. I know the Steelers are reeling and the Ravens are absolutely rolling, but I know Mike Tomlin will have those boys ready to play football Saturday night at 8 o'clock. I promise they will. I promise he will. I don't care what happened 2 weeks ago. I don't care how bad the Steelers have been. This is the game I look for to be an absolute rock fight. Classic AFC North football, third matchup. They split the first two meetings. This is going to be awesome.
Chase?
I got to go with Bucks Commanders. I'm pretty sure they played very early in the season before Jaden Daniels really showed his true potential. And now I really think it could be a 6 upset on a 3. I think the Bucks are playing out of their mind right now. But Jaden Daniels has the Offensive Rookie of the Year award locked up, and he has looked amazing for for a rookie nonetheless. I think that the Buccaneers defense it'll be a which defense sucks less in this game, and I think it'll be electric. It'll be one that people want to watch.
Yeah, actually, I agree with you, Chase. I think that this game to me, is the most intriguing because we could see a 55-46 game in this
Right.
game. So, I mean, all props are available in this game. And yeah, I mean, Mackie, like you said, for gridiron football, that Ravens Steelers matchup's looking like it's going to be the best. I'm sorry at JMA, the Texans are probably losing first round, so don't book that bet. But yeah, I like that. I like that Commanders Bucks pick just because we could see a total of 100 points in that game because both defenses
Right.
suck so bad. Boys in the garage, what do we think?
Yeah, you guys are probably going to clown me for this one, but I think it's going to be a surprisingly good game. Broncos, Bills. Dude, this young Broncos team, they got a good defense. The Bills don't have much of a defense. Bo Nix is rolling. Sean Payton's got very, very, very much confidence in this kid. Cortland Sutton's a stud. I mean, they have 3 backs that they rotate in and out. Buffalo they don't have a defense, and it's how often can Josh Allen save them. And you know what? If they don't get that run game going, Pat Surtain's a lockdown corner on the outside. Don't be surprised if Denver goes in there and puts up a ball game against his Buffalo team.
Yeah,
DP?
I was gonna. Oh, go ahead, Z.
No, I was saying throwing it to you.
Oh, yeah, I thought about picking that game as well. I think that game would be interesting to see how well Bo Nix plays in probably about 3 feet of snow in Buffalo. That'll be interesting. But the game that I'm going to talk about will be the Rams versus the loser of tonight's Sunday Night Football game. I mean, what are the Rams doing? Why are you not playing guys? Like, you want to lose and play the Lions or the Vikings? Like, that's just dumb. Now, I understand that the Rams offense is something, not to be played with. I mean, they got guys all over the field, Kyron, Cup, Puka, Stafford. That game will be at home for them. I just think it's, dumb that they lost the game tonight to Seattle, because if I'm them, I'd rather play Washington and, make one of those teams go to Tampa Bay and try and, play the Buccaneers team whose defense is, Swiss cheese. So I just don't understand what the Rams are doing. I'm going to take the loser of the Sunday night game to beat them, because it'll be a home game for the Lions or the Vikings, because for whatever reason, Rams fans don't come to games even though they're good.
There's a lot of teams in this playoff that their defenses are Swiss cheese. I mean,
Yep.
let's be honest here. There's a lot of teams with weak defenses, and that's why I picked the Chargers to get to the Super Bowl.
I would
Yeah.
venture to say the only like truly, really good defenses in this one. I would say the Vikings are up there, the Eagles are up there, and the Broncos. And I would say that's about all you've got. Or Ravens, of course, too. Ravens and Steelers. But outside of that, you got offensive heavy teams, and that really might be the crux of those teams in this playoff.
No, yeah. And obviously, boys, we're pumped about playoff football coming up. But we've been talking about this for the past 2 weeks, and we have to give him a shout out. Mike fucking Evans. Mike Evans, 11 seasons in a row, the most consistent wide receiver in NFL that we've been watching since we were kids. I mean, Mackie, how good is this cat?
He's a Hall of Famer. Once again, Hall of Famer. I don't care what anyone says. I don't know if anyone saw that tweet from that absolute idiot on Twitter today. I don't even remember his username. That's how irrelevant he is. Saying that he's not impressed by this streak because it's only 58 yards a game in a 17-game season. What a pathetic tweet. 11 straight years of 1,000 yards. Come on, dude.
Chase, what do you think?
I think this could cement him as a top 10 receiver all time. He's not the flashiest guy. He's not your, 3 receptions, 230 yards, and 3 touchdowns like Randy Moss had, but he is by far the most consistent receiver outside of Jerry Rice, I would say maybe ever, besides Randy Moss and Calvin Johnson, probably too. But he makes the quarterbacks around him better. You saw Tom Brady go in there in 2021 and go win a Super Bowl. I'm granted Tom Brady's the GOAT in my opinion, but Mike Evans is that receiver. I think that even this year, Baker Mayfield looked really rough in Cleveland, looked rough in Carolina. He came here and he's not MVP level, don't get me wrong, but he's, probably top 10 voter right now. He's been looking elite. And I think it really boils down to Mike Evans, especially now that Chris Godwin's out.
Yeah, first of all, shout out Baker Chase. We love Baker Mayfield
love
on this
Baker.
We love
podcast.
Baker. We love Baker.
So
Baker, the touchdown maker, baby.
this was awesome to see, man. I mean, just for him to get it, it was incredible. And like me and DP looked at each other earlier, does he have 4 more years in him? Is he going to pass Jerry Rice? Does he? I mean, dude, and like I said last time we brought this up, is look at the quarterbacks he's done it with, bro. Jameis Winston, Blaine Gabbert, and then finally,
Magic.
yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then finally he gets, Baker and Tom Brady. So it's incredible. I mean, Mackie, that guy on Twitter is an absolute clown, absolute moron. I can't believe that he's even got thumbs to be able to tweet something so dumb. But
We
yeah,
should
Mike
chop
Evans,
him
shout
off.
out. I mean, it's electric, man, and I'm with you guys. First ballot Hall of Famer.
Sure, for sure.
He's on a fast trip to Canton, and he's what we like to call a quarterback-proof wide receiver, and he's proven it.
DP?
Yeah, I found myself sitting there cheering for them to get the ball back, to be able to run a screen or the little out route for him to get it. And I mean, for $3 million, that they were going to do it. They wanted to keep his streak alive, and he was hurt this year, So that guy on Twitter looks like even more of an idiot that he probably did this in what 14 games.
Yeah.
And he was hurt for a couple weeks. So if he'd have played those games and had his 58 yards, whatever it totaled out to, that puts him well over 1,100. Well, he probably almost 1,200 yards receiving. So first ballot Hall of Famer. Everyone on that consecutive list of 1,000-yard receivers are in the Hall. So he's well on his way to Canton.
I don't know if you guys saw him on the sideline after it happened too. It didn't even look like he cared. He is so locked in. He's ready to go into the playoffs, steamroll some teams, and win.
Yeah,
Mike, we love you, buddy. Come on the podcast.
Yes, sir.
he said he was going to the casino with his family to play blackjack.
What a guy.
That's sick. But John, we're rolling into your segment here, the NBA. Sometimes with the NFL playoffs, it's shadowed by the NFL. But John, we stay true to the NBA here. Lead us off here, kid. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so real quick, we're gonna parlay these two. I'm gonna pass it to each of you one by one here. A little mid-season, we're gonna go over our championship picks and our MVP picks at the same time here at the mid-season in the NBA. So we'll go ahead and pass to our guests first. Chase, we'll start with you. Go ahead and give me your NBA champ and your NBA MVP mid-season.
Oh man, it's so tough right now because there's a lot of good teams. I think right now for me, I think they finally are getting a little bit more experience. I'm going to OKC Thunder for my champion. There's a lot of teams that I think could beat them, but they also could beat every team in this league. And I think they are deep enough that they can make it. My MVP is going to build off of that. I'm taking Shea. Right now, he's playing at an unbelievable level. You've got Jokic. You've got a sneaky Victor Wembanyama right now who has been playing unbelievable. You've got Luka, who's injured, but I think right now it's got to be Shea. He's been consistently good. I think that he's leading that Thunder team. It's so young. He is truly the most valuable player to a team, in my opinion.
Love it, Mackie.
See, this is tough because I do think the Thunder and the Celtics are the two best teams. I had a tough time deciding between the two, even though the Celtics are in a little bit of a slump right now. But funny enough, I'm going to take the Cleveland Cavaliers to win the NBA Finals. They've been absolutely rolling, and I don't think they're going to miss a beat. I think the Celtics reign ends at 1 year. It's Cavs and Thunder in the finals, and the Cavs take it in 7. And MVP wise is even tougher because Shea's going to be on the best team, and but I think Jokic is going to end up getting it. Right now, we got Shea at -110, Jokic at +110. This is a 2-horse race. To see MVP odds like that, and you're not even at midseason, it's a 2-horse race. But Jokic, to me, is averaging a triple-double. I know he's only at 9.7 on the assists. I round up where I'm from. So he's averaging a triple-double to me, and I think it's his pick. I think it's his MVP.
Yeah, going off that, I didn't look at the odds or anything like that, but before Chase brought it up, Shy Alexander was my MVP as well. That cat is unreal. I mean, his fluidity in the game is just unreal and how smooth he makes every shot look. And to be quite frank, every shot that goes up, I think it's going in. Like the way that he can create separation, everything like that, while dishing out 7 assists a game is pretty much unreal. And like you said, Mackie, obviously we can't count out Jokic. I mean, this cat we've never seen before either. I mean, a big man averaging like 25, 10, and 10 is ridiculous too. But John, we picked a team at the beginning of the year, and I don't fall back on that. You can feed me Giannis and Dame to win the NBA Finals, buddy.
I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. That's awesome. DP?
Yeah, this is gonna be kind of crazy. I'm gonna take Shea for MVP. I think that he's gonna win that. But give me Mackey's Knicks to make it to the finals, but to lose to it's a parade inside my city. Give me the Memphis Grizzlies.
Wow.
And Ja
Wow.
to beat the Knicks
That's
35-1 to win the NBA championship.
Wow.
wow.
You better hope Ja stays healthy and out of trouble.
He will.
Keep that man
Um,
out the club.
Yeah,
I will
so
say, as much as I hate Purdue, Zach Edey has looked damn good as the rookie of the year right now, though.
Oh, he's an absolute bum, dude.
I think it's going to be very tough for the Cavs to get beat at home. That's why they're my pick. They're 18-1 at home right now. They've always had a fantastic home playoff atmosphere, and that's the reason I side with them over the Celtics or the Thunder right now. And that's just where I'm at.
John, what are
So
your picks?
for me, you know what? I'm going to save the card here on the MVP here a little bit. I think as long as this team can stay right around 500, a little up, give me the young buck, Victor Wembanyama. I mean, this guy is putting up ridiculous numbers right now. He had 24 in the first half the other night. He had 45 on Christmas Day. I mean, this is absolutely incredible what this kid's doing. He's 7'2" and he's pulling up from 40 feet and just drilling threes. How do you guard this guy? I mean, this kid is incredible. He's going to be one of the faces of the league, hopefully, once KD and LeBron and Curry go. But yeah, give me Victor Wembanyama as a dark horse to win the MVP. And as Zach said, I said it at the beginning of the year, give me Giannis and Dame, the Milwaukee Bucks, to win the NBA championship. They won the cup. I think they're going to win it all. If you get Giannis and Dame in a 7-game series, they could beat anybody, 100%. And then,
No,
if
you're
does anyone got anything else on this whole NBA championship, NBA MVP here?
I know one team that's not going to win it, the Warriors.
Stop it, dude. Stop it. You know damn well if Curry gets into a 7-game series with anybody, he can win it. He can win it, Mackie, and you know it.
Here
We're
we
not
go.
starting this
No,
conversation.
we're not. We're not.
You
But
do
hey,
not bring Curry up around me, and
hey,
you know that because we'll get into
hey,
an hour debate about this.
hey, speaking of the Warriors, though, John, can we get into this Mike Brown firing?
Oh, dude, I've been waiting to talk about this. This pissed me off. I'm not one to get too angry about the NBA all the time, but this made me mad. You know what? And like you heard his best player, De'Aaron Fox, came out and said, he's like, man, I feel like this is my fault. It's just like, how do you fire him? I mean, he's taken this team to the playoffs for the first time in how many years? He's completely turned the whole culture in Sacramento around. I mean, they're a decently young basketball team. It's not like they're really in a win a championship now mode. They don't have the superstars of that caliber. Mike Brown was doing a great job there. And when I woke up to this news, I couldn't believe it, man. And it honestly hurt to see, especially for the players who have been playing for him now for 2 years. So to see them give up, and I think a lot of these GMs are giving up on coaches too fast nowadays, especially like Gerard May. Like I don't get it. So we'll pass it to you. We'll start with you, Mackie, and just what do you think about this? I mean, I couldn't believe it, dude.
I'm glad you passed it to me first because, like, seriously, what you just said at the end kind of hits right home. Where's the consistency? Like at the first bit of adversity, we're gonna fire a coach. Like it doesn't work like that, guys. It happens in baseball too. Your team goes 20-40 in the first half. Oh, we're gonna fire the manager, even though it was a rebuild season. And now I get it, Sacramento's not in a rebuild, but we're not even halfway through the season. Rough start, absolutely. But I just I don't understand it. There's no consistency. NBA and MLB seem to be the two worst with it. It's like they want instant results no matter what.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Chase, go ahead and take this.
Oh, go ahead, Zach. You were talking.
yeah, and before we send it to you, Chase, I mean, realistically, rough first patch, but they're only 3 games under 500. It's not like they're 5-30. You know what I mean? There's a total difference here. And if he's such a bad coach, why didn't we hear anything when he was assisting in the Warriors organization? I mean, from my understanding, Steve Kerr loved the guy, legend coach. And I'm a big Kings guy. I love De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. How as an organization, how do the players come out afterwards and put the blame on themselves, showing so much respect for their head coach? How do you think that looks on an organization?
It's because the players have to live up to their expectations too. The coach can only do so much. And it just
Correct.
drives me up a wall when the players are underperforming and there's a coach that gets the scapegoat for it.
I completely agree. It's like Dwayne Casey getting coach of the year and getting fired by the Pistons the very next year. It's unbelievable. Chase, what do you think, buddy?
As a Clippers fan, it made me so happy. I'm gonna be so honest with you. I think Mike Brown is a top 10 head coach in the league. I think that, like you said, they had a rough patch, but they were still only 3 games under 500. When that team is on, they are on. I think that Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox are probably top top half of the league duo, not counting the team they have around him right now. Um, Mike Brown was a damn good coach. I mean, I think it was last year they just missed the playoffs, and it was, I think that was his first or second year. So like you guys mentioned, the consistency is everything. As any sport, NFL, MLB, NHL, you got to give guys time to develop their players, let them learn the way you coach and all that, because it really comes down to you. Like I'm gonna go to Matt Nagy, or yeah, Matt Eberflus with the end of last Bears reign. He didn't have the players that he needed to build his team. You got to let the coaches coach and get the players they need to build their team.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Kings are absolutely motorboating my Warriors right now.
It just doesn't make any, like, on top of that, makes no sense to me because the Kings were irrelevant for almost 20 years. And now all of a sudden you think you're like the top tier organization in the NBA, like the damn Warriors, Lakers, whatever it is. And if you have one slow start, you have to fire your coach. Like, no, you guys were just irrelevant for 2 decades. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, dude,
DP,
light this beam and kiss my ass.
DP, you got anything to shed some light on?
Yeah, I think it was either Steve Kerr or Mike Malone said that in a post game that, when the team wins, the credit goes to De'Aaron,
Oh yeah,
DeMar,
that was Malone.
Sabonis, but when they lose, it falls on the head coach. Why are the players not taking accountability for their actions on the floor for losing games, making bonehead plays, missing shots? So how does a player missing shots at the end of games fall on the head coach? He's not out there shooting it for him. These guys are professional athletes. Get held accountable for your actions.
He's a great coach, man. He was a great assistant coach before he was a head coach. But we'll wrap my segment up here. Unless you guys got anything else on the NBA that you'd like to talk about.
I just want to shout out Mike Malone because like you had mentioned, he brought that quote up. He's told, or in that press conference, he said he stays off social media and he found out through a phone call. And he's talking about how stupid of a move it was without actually saying that. But, it's crazy that when other coaches recognize how good a coach is, it should say a lot because those guys know ball better than anybody.
Yeah, correct.
Mac, you give us your low-hanging fruit, and it better not be as bad as the last one.
Yeah, John, nice one. So this is a tough one because now we're getting into the nitty-gritty here. You got the playoffs, you got some early lines out. There's a lot of places I can go with this pick, but you can give me the under 46.5 in the Steelers and Ravens as my low-hanging fruit. DP is gonna hate it, but these two teams play rock hard, rock solid football, and they never, ever, ever give in. It's always been don't break defense for the entire game. I see this being a 24-21, 2017 type game. I think 46 is too many points.
So Chase, you being the guest here, what do we think about that under 46?
I don't hate it at all. I also think both teams have too good of a defense since the Ravens have acquired Tre'Davious White. Their pass defense has been playing a lot better. That was what hurt them at the beginning of the season was their pass defense was the worst in the league. I think you have two good defense. I don't care how good your offenses are. If you face a stalwart defense like that, you're going to stay under 46. I mean, I could see it being a 2017 game, but that's still under 46 and a half.
Well, I like it. Well, guys, episode 13. Chase.
Let me add one more thing in here
Yeah.
before you wrap us up. 8 of the last 9 Ravens Steelers games have gone under that 46.5 total. And I just don't see a playoff game with the bright lights and primetime showing up. I don't see these offenses really finding their rhythm early enough to hit that over.
Especially
When Russell Wilson's quarterbacking one of the teams, I would hammer the under too.
Yeah.
Good point.
Especially when George Pickens can't catch the rock, huh?
God.
Vintage Russ performance incoming.
He's horrible, dude. This team's in shambles. 24-0 Ravens.
Hey, but that's wrapping us up, guys. Hey, Chase, thank you for coming on. Like I said earlier, guys, go follow him on the TikTok, Off the Couch Sports. He's putting out good content every weekend. So, wrapping us up with Beanie Boys. Chase, thanks for coming on, buddy. Appreciate
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it, guys. Pleasure to be here.
it. All right,
Yep,
guys.
Beanie Boys out.
Beanie Boys out.